Welcome
Yes.
everyone. Again, this is my name is Jonathan Gonzalez Montelongo. I am your visitor services and events coordinator. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I work in the campus tours and visitor center. So if you have any questions about any of the programming today or any future programming that you might be signed up for Coyotes Connect, I am your guy. So today I'm just going to be working in the background, just making sure everything goes well. Just some housekeeping, if you can keep your mics muted during the duration of the presentation, but feel free to open up your cameras. I'm sure all of our presenters today would appreciate seeing some future Coyotes and putting some faces to names. So feel free to open up your cameras. We'll be using the raise hand feature once we get to the Q&A, and then you can also use our chat feature to ask any questions that you might have of our presenters. But we'll get started. I'll kind of go over, first I will do a land acknowledgement if you allow me to, and then we're gonna go over our agenda. But here we go. Before we get started, we want to recognize that California State University San Bernardino sits on the territory and ancestral land of the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, the Javiatam. We recognize that every member of the California State University San Bernardino community has benefited and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since the institution's founding in 1965. Consistent with our values of community and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the university's relationship to Native peoples. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm Indigenous sovereignty, and we will work to hold Cal State San Bernardino more accountable to the needs of American Indian and Indigenous peoples. So thank you all for letting me do that land acknowledgement. And very quickly, this is our agenda for the night. We're gonna get started with admissions. Then we'll be moving on to our financial aid office, then orientation, our Coyote First Step program, and then we'll do a quick Q&A at the end. But again, we'll be around to answer questions in the chat. So without any further ado, I won't take away from the program. I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues in the admissions office, and we'll start with Alejandra Quintero. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Well, welcome. First of all, welcome to our first session for Next Step. My name is Alejandra Quintero. I'm admissions counselor and recruiter for the Office of Admissions at Cal State San Bernardino, and I am located at the Palm Desert campus. So we do have two campuses at CSUSB, so I'm located at the Palm Desert one. Okay, so today we're going to go over the admission process and the timeline of admission. So we go over your My Coyote account and your student email, transcripts and other requirement documents, how to accept or decline your admissions offer, and how to pay your confirmation deposit, the appeal process, enrollment deadline, and other important reminders. So it's a lot of information, so let's get started. So first, your My Coyote account. It's so crucial for you to activate your My Coyote account. And My Coyote account, it's your student portal from CSUSB. So after you submit your application from on Cal State Apply, within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you will receive an email from us to the email that you enter or that you put on your application, in your Cal State application, giving you your Coyote ID number. And that's your student ID number from CSUSB, and instructions on how to activate your My Coyote account and your student email. It is so important for you to activate them, because from that point forward, that's how we're going to communicate with you. That's how we're gonna, if we need any documents from you or any request or something's going on with your application, we're gonna deliver it through that email and your to-dos. So it's only important for you to activate it, but also to be checking it frequently. If not every day, you've be doing at least 3 to 2 times a week, because like I mentioned before, that's how we're going to be communicating with you. You can access your student email through your My Coyote account. Other thing that you can also access is through My Coyote account is an icon or a tile on your My Coyote account that it's called My Task. Under My Task, you will see a link that says to-dos. To-dos is where you're going to see if you have any holds or if you have any requirements that we are asking to complete your admission process. And not only from our department, but from other departments such as financial aid. So you want to make sure you're checking your to-dos constantly so you can see if you're missing anything. Okay, so one of the things that you will find in your to-dos too is how to your official transcripts. This year looks a little different. This year, we're not requiring first and freshmen to submit partial official transcripts because although some of the freshmen might have received them as or requested them, so make sure you check your to-dos, because if you have maybe applied to an impacted major or we need to verify something that you enter in your application, we will require official transcripts from you. So make sure you're checking your email to do. But we did require official partial transcripts from all our transfer students. The deadline was February 15. Even though it has already passed, you can still submit them. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you do as soon as possible because we will need them to give you an admissions decision, okay? So we prefer official electronic transcripts, and you can send them to that email that it's right here. So take a screenshot or write it down. Because that's where you will need to send them. We will accept a hard copy, but just keep in mind that it takes a little longer for us to process them as hard copy versus an electronic copy. So it's faster and safer if you do electronic, okay? Also, we have a drop-off box in front of our University Hall building, which is in our campus, or if you're in the Palm Desert campus, you can also drop them off at the Roger Gateway building, okay? So other documents that you will need to submit, even though we're not requesting this year ACT or any type of test scores, we encourage you guys to submit the test scores if you have them, especially for freshmen, if we will need them for placement. But this will not affect your admissions offer if you don't submit them. But the deadline was again February 15th, but we know that this year looks different. So we have not penalizing anybody right now before the deadline. So just make sure you get them as soon as possible. And if you want to get, credits for your AP classes or tests that you took, make sure you send those as well. If you have any residency questionnaires or anything, this is the email that you will send them over to. So make sure you have this as well. And you will see if you are being requested these documents once again on your to-do list, okay? So another thing that is different this year is that we added to accept or decline your admissions offer. So this year, all students, first and freshman and transfer students, will have the option to accept or decline their admissions. You will find this also through your My Coyote account. As you see, your Coyote account is so important. So make sure you see this constantly. So you will access this tile on your My Coyote. You will click on the tile, and then it will take you step by step on how to accept or decline your offer. And there is another step that you will do, and I will pass it over to my colleague Sergio, and he will take over.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. So my name is Sergio, and I'm going to show you the next step after you have accepted your offer of admissions. So you'll follow the prompt, and you'll notice that at the very end of that sequence, you'll get to a button that says Pay ECD Now. The ECD is your enrollment confirmation deposit. It is a $100 deposit towards your first term's tuition. Now, you'll follow the prompts after the accept decline window, and you'll see this prompt right there, and it'll take you right to a page like this. This is CashNet. It's our payment page here at Cal State San Bernardino. You'll select the enrollment confirmation deposit and then follow the prompts from there to enter your payment and add it to your basket and complete the payment. Now, the enrollment confirmation deposit's real important for students to complete because it's what allows them to then move on to the next step in the series, which is going to be sign up for orientation. Now, if for whatever reason, when you go following that prompt after accepting decline, it doesn't take you right away to the page, you can log on to your My Coyote account. And then from your My Coyote account, you'll select the icon that says My Financials. Within that prompt where it says My Financials, then you'll go to make a payment. And from there, again, you'll select enrollment confirmation deposit and follow through with all the prompts. So there we can see the two icons. You'll see my financials first, and then it'll be make a payment. And then within that, you'll select the make a payment link and then follow it from there. Okay. You have to complete your enrollment confirmation deposit, like I said, in order to then move on to the next step, which is orientation. Just add it to your basket, complete your payment information, your credit card or debit card, whichever payment choice you decide to use, and complete it. Now, one thing that I want to talk about next is a little different from this. Let's talk about what happens if we did get your transcripts and for some reason we just didn't find all the admissions criteria on there. Now, students have the right to appeal any denied decision they receive from Cal State San Bernardino. Okay, we do have a process in place for that, for a committee to review any appeals from students who wish to be considered again, or maybe they feel that we may have missed something. There's 4 reasons why an appeal might be considered and, possibly reinstate a denied decision from a student. That could be credit that was not initially considered when we got your transcripts. So maybe there were some transcripts that we didn't have the final grades for, or maybe you attended one class at another CC and just forgot to include it on your application. Miscalculation of transferable college credit is another reason why we would do this. Sometimes this comes into play, for example, if you did take an AP or IB or CLEP exam and have college credits through them. Another big factor where we will consider for reinstating a denied student is if they'd applied to an impacted program like nursing, kinesiology or allied health concentration, criminal justice, psychology, or social work, and didn't meet the criteria for that specific program. And just because you didn't meet the criteria for nursing or psych or one of the impacted programs, we definitely can't consider you for an alternate non-impacted program. So that's another reason we would do it. And then lastly, for any special or extenuating circumstances that you feel might merit your consideration for us to reinstate a denied decision. And those vary greatly. It depends on your specific scenario. And now I'm going to hand it off to my esteemed colleague, Mary Hill, to finish us off here at admissions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary Hill. I'm one of the counselors at Cal State San Bernardino. And next slide, please. Admissions appeal process. I think Sergio went over that. Please carefully read the information appeal process for application denied admission to CSUSB. And then you could always go ahead and, thank you, Jonathan. Okay, the enrollment deadlines, they're very important. You guys have to meet. So the March 2nd, submit your financial aid application. May 1st is your confirmation deposit, which Sergio went over. So don't forget to pay for that because that will hold your spot if you do pay for it. May 14th, transfer student orientation registration deadline. And then June 14th is the first year student orientation registration deadline. July 15th, submit your final transcript from all the institutes that you have attended. You might want to take a screenshot of that. Mr. Jonathan. Other important reminders, always go ahead and check your to-do list. Of course, you have to check your CSUSB email. Not only will you get email from us, but preferably your department and financial aid and other areas that you're interested, like for housing, we'll go ahead and reach out to you through the email. So always check to-do list, probably like Alejandra said, twice a week or more if you can't. Most students will have admissions decision by April 1st. Don't miss deadlines and clear holds, or you're not going to be able to move forward and take a virtual campus tour. Remember, your admissions decision is not final until we review your final official documents. CSUSB admission is available to help to assist. So the phone number right there is 537-5188, or you could always email us at moreinfo@csusb.edu. And then Coyotes, next step, how to workshops. There's also workshop 2, workshop 3 for admissions, timeline and change of majors, and housing as well. And then of course, workshop 3 is how to accept your admissions offer PAYDC for students who had questions on the chat, and you may want to go ahead and attend that. So you could go by step to see what you need to do, and then EOP process as well. Thank you, and that's it for admissions, and then we're going to go ahead and move forward with financial aid, I believe.
Thank you, Mary. I hope everybody can hear me now. Okay, so we'll go over what is the FAFSA. But we'll touch here, the FAFSA is a free application. It's a federal for student aid. This application opens every October 1st, and the priority deadline for the application is March 2nd. That priority deadline is used to determine eligibility for federal, state, and institutional aid, such as grants, work study, and federal student loans. Also, the other application that needs to be completed for those that don't fill out the FAFSA that could potentially be eligible for is the California DREAM Act. This allows students to be eligible for California colleges and universities to apply for state financial aid. This is through California Student Aid Commission, and the priority deadline for this is also March 2nd. The financial aid timeline that we're going to go over. So between October and March, what you will expect is students will complete financial aid scholarship, financial aid and scholarship applications to meet the priority deadline. Between February and March, students are notified of any additional documents needed to process financial aid. So currently, students were notified for the 21-22 academic year. They started receiving now emails on the 18th of February, which was just last week. So right now, most of the students are getting notified. This goes directly to your to-do list. That's why it's very important to go log into your account, check your to-do list. If you have any pending items that need to be turned into our office, those need to be turned in as soon as possible in order for us to verify your file and award your financial aid accordingly. In March, financial aid awarding begins for the upcoming school year. Between May and June, CSUSB scholarship recipients are notified and awarded. And in September, financial aid disbursement begins 10 days before the first day of fall semester. So that's when we'll start awarding releasing your funds. So it is important for you to go ahead and turn those documents in time in order for us to go ahead and have your award ready for come September. Your financial aid could be released, send out to Student Financial Services for any outstanding balance, and the rest of it, if any is left over, will then be issued to you. For CSB financial aid quick tips, what we recommend the students is to apply early each year. Once you're enrolled in school, you will need to renew your FAFSA every year. So keep in mind, if you do the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act, it does need to be completed on a yearly basis. The applications are available beginning October 1st of every year, and the priority deadline is on March 2nd. What do I mean by priority deadline? That does not mean that after March 2nd, you can no longer complete these applications. Those are still available for you, since this application will not be effective until July 1st of this year. But what happens is some of the scholarships and grants and federal, state, and institutional aid are based on the priority deadline that you submitted your FAFSA or California DREAM Act application. That's why it's very important that you complete these items by March 2nd in order to be, if you are potentially eligible for that grant or scholarship, for you to receive that award. For the CSUSB scholarship, those open on December 1st of every year and close March 2nd of every year. It is important for you to check My Coyote email and student portals for often financial information, official information, and review and clear any holds or to-dos, because that's where everything's going to be going to. If we do need any documents for you, we will add them to your to-do list. If there's any holds, you do need to clear those holds. We will send you emails if there's additional information. Let's say you submitted your taxes to us, you thought everything was good, you didn't need anything, but for some reason we weren't able to read your taxes clearly, or they came in a little bit blurry. We'll actually email you once those documents are received and notify you that we will need additional information, since the items that you have submitted to our office are not readable or anything like that. So that's why it's important. Check on your to-do list. Always check on your emails and clear any holds that you might have pending. Respond to any documents that are requested to our office on or before the deadline that we give. For financial aid disbursements, if aid does not cover all of your fees, you are responsible for paying the balance by the due date to avoid being dropped from the term. Most disbursements occur 10 days prior to the first day of class. That's as long as you don't have any holds and no pending items need to be turned in. You are encouraged to apply for direct deposit. That's the most convenient way for you if you are eligible for a refund to get your money quicker and more accurate. Since the mail nowadays, we just don't know what's going on. Disbursed aid is credited to each student's account. If there are remaining funds, a refund will be sent either by direct deposit or mail. Student Financial Services does ask that you allow 5 to 10 working days in order to receive your refund. Student loan information. Aside from your grant, scholarship, or any other institutional or state aid grant eligibility that you might be eligible, for those of you that are enrolled in 6 units or more, we will offer you student loans if you're eligible and haven't reached your aggregate limit. When you get your loans, a loan borrower must accept their loan under My Coyote portal every academic year. So let's say this academic year you decide you don't want loans, you decline them, we'll remove them out of your award. But let's say next academic year, you decide you do want loans, you could accept your loans at that time, or even within the same academic year. So the next coming school year will be 21-22. It will cover fall and spring, fall 21, spring 22. Let's say you don't need loans for fall 21, but you want to take out loans for spring 22. All you have to do is you need to submit a form, a change of status form to our office, and we will add your student loans for spring 2022. So it is important for you to understand that as a first-time borrower at CSUSB, you must complete a master promissory note and complete an interest counseling exam. That's for you borrowing for the first time at our institution. If you borrowed in other schools, you still have to complete it for the first time at our school. And then after that, if you borrow any other years, you don't have to complete it. If you previously borrowed at a different campus, you will still need to complete a new MPN, which is the master promissory note, in our office. So with that, we conclude our financial aid resource presentation. Here's some of the resources that are available for our office. It's going to be the FAFSA website. We have the California Dream application website. This is for the student loan, studentaid.gov, which would be the student loans. You could also, if you wanted to check on your aggregate loan limits, how much you have remaining on your Pell Grant eligibility, you would go through studentaid.gov, and it would take you into the National Student Loan Database. For the Cal Grant, Middle Class Scholarship, and the Chafee Grant, you could get information under My Grant Info at csac.ca.gov. And when you complete your application for FAFSA or California Dream, our federal school code is 001142. On the next screen, we have future presentations that we want to make available to you. We have another one that's going to be learn about a 50-20-30 budget plan. We will be having that one on March 17th. It would also be virtual via Zoom webinar, and we'll have it between the hours of 5 to 6 p.m. So please go into our website, Coyote Connect, register for these workshops. We will have also Understanding Credit Score on April 7th between the hours of 3 to 4. Also will be virtually through Zoom. We do have 2 sessions of Understanding Your Cal State San Bernardino Financial Aid Package. This is going to be information that will cover what you will be awarded in your financial aid, and just we'll have like a Q&A. We'll go over what you have been awarded and help you understand what you have been awarded, what's grants, what's loans, what does your cost of attendance mean, why were you awarded that amount. So we'll have 2 sessions for that. We'll have the first one March 16 between 5 and 6, also via Zoom, and our second session will be April 6th. between 3 and 4, and it also will be via Zoom. So it is important for you to try and register for these classes, since this will give you more information for you to understand your financial aid. This is my contact information. You can reach us at our main line for financial aid. My name is Veronica. This is my direct email. And should you need any forms or any additional information, you could always visit our website, and that will provide you more additional information. Thank you, Jonathan.
All right, good afternoon, evening to all of you. My name is Brian Willis. I use the pronouns he and him. Welcome to Cal State. I'm excited. I see a lot of questions out there. I've paid my $100 confirmation deposit. I haven't been able to register for orientation. So I'm going to talk about orientation. But before I do, I want everybody to take a deep breath. Everybody has had a lot of information processing. I see the 8 people that have their cameras on, they're smiling, which is good. Everybody else, I hope you're enjoying this presentation. So really quick, I'm one of those people, I like to know who's in the room. You don't have to turn on your camera, but if you are coming from a high school, in the reaction, if you're coming from a high school, give me a thumbs up. If you're coming from a community college, give me the heart emoji. And if you're a parent, there we go. Look at some transfers popping up on my screen. I got some, oh, lots of transfers. And if you're a parent, give me the clap symbol, man. I want to see if any parents are on this symbol as well. So I see some transfers, couple freshmen. Oh, look, we got a parent over there. We're so glad that you guys are all here. So I am going to talk about orientation, which is your next step in the transition to becoming a Coyote. There we go. So orientation is going to be what you need to do. And of course, all of you that have paid your deposit, you're like, I want to get into orientation. I want to get this show on the road. So orientation is mandatory for all incoming students. So whether you're a transfer student, whether you're a first-year student coming from a high school, it's not required for parents. So don't worry about parents. You don't have to come to orientation, but we have an orientation just for you. So it is important that you come. There is an orientation hold for you, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So goals of orientation, really, we want to create a welcoming atmosphere for you all. But first and foremost, the biggest thing is we want to get you academic advising so that you understand what is required for you as you transition to Cal State San Bernardino. And we're going to get you prepared to register for your fall term classes. So there's a lot of great things that happen in orientation. Next. All right, so this year orientation is going to be done online and virtual, and so we have it done in different stages. Both transfers and first-year students pretty much have the same orientation experience. So we are currently working on a pre-orientation program that will be sent to you once it is live. So we are still in the working stages, but we're going to send it to you, and we will send out email communication. It is an online, interactive, there's videos. We got some of our orientation leaders talking to you about all the different resources that are available on campus. And so it is really kind of this pre-orientation information session that will be sent to you. You do it at your own pace. You can watch the different modules. It's fun and interactive. So that's going to be the first thing that you're going to get. The live webinar, so that middle box inside, that is your orientation of which you need to register on your My Coyote account. So I think earlier somebody talked about how to register for orientation. That is where you're going to register for orientation, and I will talk more about that live event. That is required. You need to attend the whole program for us to remove your orientation hold. And that's going to be the part where you get your advising, and you'll talk to college advisors and make sure you're prepared for fall term. And then the last thing that we do is in the fall, we do some enhanced programs. You'll get lots of information. Welcome week, new student convocation. Fingers crossed, we will be back on campus so that we can see all your smiling faces and connect with you. We've gone this virtual route, but we really enjoy seeing all of you in person. And so So that is what orientation can consist of. And so the live webinar, and I'm going to stress it enough, the live webinar is what you need to register for. You will get the pre-orientation sent to you. We are actually going to mail you your new student handbook. So that's going to come in the mail at your house. So you just need to make sure you attend the live webinar, and we'll go into more information about that. Again, make sure that you pay your $100 enrollment confirmation deposit, which most of you have already said in the chat, like I have. I'm really waiting to get into orientation. So next slide. You can just fill this picture up. So I'm going to talk to my transfer students first. So transfer students, your live webinar, again, you're required to attend. There are going to be about 3,000 new transfer students that start in the fall. So you are going to be a large class of incoming students. Registration will not open until March. So that is why, if you've already paid and you're a transfer student, you have not been able to register, we have not opened orientation registration yet. So take a deep breath. You haven't missed anything. We have plenty of dates to cover. And then, just so you know, there is a orientation fee. It's a one-time fee that you pay when you pay your fall tuition. So there's nothing to pay up front. You don't have to pay before you come to orientation. You don't have to pay at orientation. You will get it. It will show up in your student account when you have to pay your tuition. So don't worry about that. For some of you that get financial aid, if you have enough aid, sometimes your aid will cover the orientation fee as well. So some of you don't even pay anything because your financial aid will also pay that fee. But so I'm going to run through a whole bunch of dates for you. But for our transfer students this year, we have worked with our individual colleges. And so we are going to have some colleges or some orientation sessions just based on what college you were admitted to. And your colleges are based on your major. So if you're an English major, you'd be in arts and letter. Natural sciences is biology, chemistry, the sciences. Social and behavioral sciences are like social work, psychology, and then business, self-explanatory. It's our business college, right? So there are some dates. Our first one is in April 28th. It's a Wednesday, and we're having 2 of our colleges have their session. Thursday, and so on and so on. So I'm putting the dates out there. They are all on our website. So you don't have to, if you want to take a picture, great. We're going too fast. Don't worry about it. It's all on. And so you can see the time frame. So it's about a 4-hour commitment. So I always want to stress to all of our participants, if you have work, please plan accordingly. As you can see, I've highlighted, we have a Saturday session, and in the next slide, you'll see another Saturday session. So if you are working a 40-hour work week, please choose a date that will not conflict with that. Go ahead and add all of those, Jonathan. I should remove all of that and just have it all pop up. So there's a Saturday date as well. If you are going to be attending the Palm Desert campus, those are the dates for our transfer students orientation as well. They have a Saturday date as well. Their program's a little bit, their capacity for their program is about 75 students, whereas at the San Bernardino campus, there's about 300. In red, obviously really bold, registration deadline. So you have to register for an orientation session before May 15th by 5 p.m. So again, I'll reiterate, before May 15th. You've got plenty of time to register. You'll get lots of reminder emails and communication. But if you're a transfer student, there's lots of dates out there for you to choose an orientation session. Next slide. All right, so now we're going to turn to our first year orientation. These are our students coming from our high schools. There's going to be about 2,500 of you coming into our fall class. So one big thing, registration for our first year students does not open until April. So again, transfers was March, first year students is April. We stagger them because orientation for our transfer students is earlier in the calendar, and for our first years, it's later. So if you look, you remember from the previous slide, transfers started in April. First year students, your first orientation date is not until June. So you've got a little bit more time to pick your date and get in there and all that kind of stuff. Same fee, so you pay the same fee as the transfer students, and it's about the same time frame. So you will have plenty of dates. The one difference between our transfer program and our first year program, as you can see, it doesn't matter. We don't have college specific sessions. So whatever major you've chosen or whatever college you are in, or if you're an undecided student, go ahead and pick the date that is most convenient for you. And so again, you need to be there the whole time. Go ahead, Jonathan, put all the slide pictures up there. And then these are the dates if you will be attending the Palm Desert campus. And so they have 3 dates listed for you to attend. You need to attend, and I will be clear about this, you need to attend the whole time. We keep track, so you can't just kind of log in and check in and then check out. We have a system to see how long you've been in the program. So, and then your registration deadline is June 14th by 5 p.m. So again, you have a little bit longer time. The great thing is at orientation, again, at this live webinar, we will have academic advisors, college advisors, our orientation leaders will be there to really help you, guide you through your registration process and help you kind of understand the system of registering for classes. So, and then we'll do some fun things, right? We'll get you connected, you'll meet some friends, hopefully meet some people that are in your major. So that is kind of the dates. As I said, I know it's a lot of information and I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, but all this information is on our webpage and you can always contact us and we'll put that at the end. Next slide. For my parents and families, we also have orientation. So students, if you want, and this is for our first year students, sorry, we do not have orientation for transfers, but they are more than welcome to attend. Actually, it's all virtual, so it doesn't really matter. But parent and family orientation we have, and they are by topic. So we do a session about financial aid, academic success, campus resources, and then supporting your first year of college. And so again, if you are a transfer student and you have a partner or a spouse, or even if your parents want to come and learn some more about the university and how they can support you, they're more than happy to register for any of these events. Next slide. Oh, what I want to reiterate, go ahead and stay on this slide, Jonathan, but what I want to reiterate is we do our program in both English and in Spanish. So again, if your parents only speak Spanish, we have programs specifically for them. And then there is no cost this year for our parents to attend parent orientation. So there's no additional fee. Since we're doing it all virtually, we can offer this for free. Again, those are all the dates, and then you can kind of see the topics. I know it's a lot of information on this slide. Palm Desert campus, which is in the blue at the bottom of this slide, they are also doing parent and family orientation. And then you can see which date, one's an English session and then their Spanish session. For the San Bernardino campus, the dates that are listed, we offer English and Spanish on the same day. So either one, we will offer an English or a Spanish session. So when you register for your orientation, they will ask you if you want your parents to attend orientation as well. Okay, a couple last things just as a reminder. Orientation is mandatory. You cannot pass go, you cannot collect $200 if you do not attend orientation. So it is required that you attend your orientation session, and again, the whole time. Just that live session, the pre-orientation that you'll be sent to is a great resource. We want you to do it, but the live session is where you need to go. Obviously, you can't register for classes and all that kind of stuff. You must register for your designated session, whether you're a first year student from high school, a transfer student from community college, and the campus that you'll be attending in the fall. So we know some students will be going to Palm Desert campus or the San Bernardino campus. Attendance is verified. I've said this over and over again. And then really, the really bad news, and I don't want to emphasize this too much, but if you do not attend, it could jeopardize your attendance of coming in the fall. So really important that you do it. We try and make it as fun and engaging as possible. One more slide, Jonathan. And this is our contact information. So questions I know we'll answer in the question and answer section, but please check out our website. There's lots of information there. Our phone number, you can call us, and then obviously email us as well. So welcome to the pack. We're so excited that you will be joining us in the fall.
everyone. Welcome. Thanks, Brian. I know that was like the meat of the information that everybody wanted, so nobody cares about me now. So my name is Aurora Vilchis. My pronouns are she and her. And I want to apologize to all of the transfer students because everything I'm about to say, unfortunately, does not apply to you. So sorry about that. So first-time freshmen, yay, first time coming to college. It's an exciting time. If you have your parents with you, shout out to parents who took their evening to sit at the computer with you to learn more about CSUSB. You've made a great choice coming to this campus, and specifically for our freshmen, we would love to support you as much as possible. So I am going to speak about the Early Start and Coyote First Step program. This is a summer program. So you thought you were going to have summer vacation, graduate from high school and get a break, but no, I'm here to share some exciting news, hopefully. The Early Start program is a system-wide program. So every single one of the Cal States has an Early Start program. So many of you saw all the campus names that you applied for in Cal State Apply. So every single campus has an Early Start program. So students all over will be invited. So this is an invitation-only program and is targeted to specific students. So maybe you're a first-time freshman, and maybe you'll get this invitation to participate in this summer program. I hope you do, and if you do, please say yes. So how do you know who this program is for? So I'm going to drop a resource into the chat here. This is the CSUSBadmissions.org website. This will tell you more about Early Start and who comes and why. In the CSU, we have the academic preparation policy. And Alejandra from PreOrientation mentioned it earlier when she was speaking about admissions. Especially about SAT and ACT and your CAST. None of you had to take that Smarter Balance assessment, right? Got rid of one test. But if you did take any of the testing, we will use that to determine your academic placement. So we asked you questions like, do you feel ready for college math? Do you feel ready for college English? And so we're going to take a look at what we call multiple measures. So this CSUStudentsuccess.org website, I dropped in the link there. That'll help you understand the policy for multiple measures and how we assess your academic placement. There's a cool little academic placement predictor for both math and English there that you can try out. There's some simple videos there that you can try out as well to determine, do I need this program? Am I going to be invited to do this Early Start experience? So at CSUSB, we specifically created a special program for the mathematics part, and we call it Coyote First Step. So STEP is an acronym, Student Transition Enrichment Program, and it's all about focusing on your transition. You know, what does it mean to leave high school and become a college student now? What is that like? What should you expect? What are you going to learn? You'll get a lot of that in orientation, but we want to talk to you more about your academic preparation as well. And so that's why there's this math course involved. And I know math, sometimes people get like, ooh, math, you know, but math can be really fun. And so that's kind of what we do in the summers. We talk about math, we talk about CSUSB, we talk about being a student. So it's a great program. This summer, it starts pretty early in June and it goes till August. So it's a long program. It's not every day though. So it'll kind of follow a model very similar to some of your college classes where it will meet Monday and Wednesday, or it will meet Tuesday and Thursday. So you can plan your summer around it. You're not totally going to be bogged down. There is a QR code there if you want to scan that. That will take you directly to the Early Start website, which I will also pop in the chat here. But in the chat, I'm also including the email and phone number if you have questions. So the cfs@csusb.edu email is our contact information. There's a phone number and the website. So that QR code will take you to the website. So we have not invited anyone yet. So if you're thinking like, oh, do I need to do this? Did I miss something? Don't worry. We haven't started yet. We will start inviting students soon. So it was talked about earlier, the importance of checking your email. So be on the lookout in your email inbox for an invitation for Early Start and Coyote First Step. This image here is actually a postcard that will be mailed to your house as well. So parents, if you check the mail and you see this, your student will be invited to participate in our summer math program, Coyote First Step, and students be on the lookout for that mail or check your inbox email. And we'll give you specific information about how to register, what the daily schedule looks like. And then we're going to host additional webinars similar to this, but it will be all just about the program. So you can get really in depth about all kinds of questions and really understand the program experience. So hopefully that information is helpful. Again, I apologize to the transfer students that was not applicable to, but that is all from me. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aurora. And so we are now gearing towards our Q&A portion. So just before we get to that, I just wanted to highlight the rest of our Coyotes Connect programming. We have an honor session on March 4th, a housing session on March 15th from 6:30 to 7:30. All of these are virtually, by the way. And then, of course, you heard about all of the great financial aid sessions that we're going to be having already. And then we're also going to be having, if you can make the second session for housing, there's going to be a third session, it's the exact same session on April 8th from 6:30 to 7:30. So you could sign up on our Coyotes Connect website. So I will add that to the chat. But I will now open it up to Q&A. You could use our reaction feature to raise your hand, to unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can put them in the chat and I'll ask them of our presenters. So go ahead. I know y'all received a lot of information tonight, so I'm sure y'all have a lot of questions. So I have a question from our colleagues in admissions. Who do we contact to get information about changing a concentration? Open up to anyone.
So there's a couple of ways to really do that. Early on in the admission cycle, we do have a change of major form if you'd wish to go that path. It's available from our website. If you go to CSUSB.admissions or /admissions, you'll find it there under the forms link. You'll find a change of major form. We would click on that and complete it to then change over. Now, that's really only for applicants early in the admission cycle. After a student has gone past a certain point, after you've made the confirmation deposit, really that's when the switch happens. At that point, then it's something you'll need to wait until after you've started, or maybe something that might be covered in orientation. But if you haven't made your confirmation deposit, then it is something that you may be able to do it on the admissions side through our admissions website. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until further along in the process.
Yeah, I can add to that, Sergio. So if you've already been admitted and you've paid your confirmation deposit, you can change your major. And we actually, if you are thinking about changing your major, to do that prior to orientation, because again, during orientation, we will advise you based on your major. So, and so that could be done through the registrar's office. And so the registrar's office will be able to change it. And the really good thing about that is if you change it, during orientation or even before orientation, there is no fee associated with it. So normally there's a fee after you start the first day of classes. So if you are thinking about it, we encourage you to do it prior to the first day and even before orientation. So that way you get the correct advising for the major that you want to attend here at Cal State San Bernardino. So.
Thank you. Alrighty, I have a question by Anel Moreno. Do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Go for it.
Yeah, I have a question. So my focus is on social work, and when I filled out my application to Cal State, I did put that as my major. However, I'm not sure if this information is accurate. Was I supposed to fill out another application specifically for the social work program? And if so, was there a deadline?
Hi, Anel. So there definitely is a secondary application. So students who applied to our campus for social work actually applied as pre-social work students. And then there is the moving on into the actual social work program to become a full social work student. I don't know what that the timeline or the deadline is for that application. You'll want to check with our social work department and see what they have posted on their website as far as, you know, when or how you'll be submitting that secondary application.
I could add to that, Sergio. The deadline on their website, it was December 11, and they also had information sessions already and posted in their website already for you guys to go to those information sessions. It's always advised for any of those pre-social work, pre-nursing, they have information sessions posted on their website so you can attend because they explain you what they want on their supplemental application as well as to the deadlines and all that. But according to their website, it was December 11.
Okay, so as far as now, I didn't meet the deadline. I should just get with somebody and see what I can do moving forward.
You might want to contact the Department of Social Work, or you can also be admitted in another, you can come in as a declare if you're a transfer or another major.
Thank you.
But yeah, you have to talk to the Department of Social Work.
Okay, thank you.
Kind of just touching base, not just specific to social work, but for all of our pre-programs. So nursing, all of our pre-nursing students, our pre-psych students, all of the pre-ones. For example, what Anel mentioned, if you're not eligible or if you miss a deadline for your first term, you are still admitted to the campus as a pre-major. And so then you can just try to reapply for the program for the next available term that the program opens. It's just something that you will have to, like Alejandra said, it's best to talk to the department to see kind of what your options are as far as that goes.
Thank you.
And I believe we've been answering all the questions, so thank you to all my colleagues in the chat. And then there was a question about the recording for this session. So I will make the recording available on the Coyotes Connect website, and I'll share that. Again, I'm pushing a lot of buttons and doing a bunch of things. So as soon as I get it, I will put the Coyotes Connect website in the chat for you all, but that is where the recordings, all the recordings for all of our programming will live. There's a question about if my major sociology were other majors I could change to without losing my junior status, if they're a sociology major. And maybe that goes, go ahead, Sergio.
Yeah, so as far as your actual student standing of junior or sophomore, or whatever it is you may be, that it's changing to a different program doesn't necessarily change that. What might change is the course articulation for the ones that you've already done. So a sociology transfer student may have already done a lot of lower division sociology work. And if now you're looking to change over to something like math, some of that lower division coursework no longer will directly apply to that math program requirements, but you don't necessarily lose your standing as a junior. You'll just find yourself needing to retake some of the lower division program specific to whatever other major you decide to change into.
And just keep in mind as well that once you become a student, you will have access to academic advisors that will give you more information as to what are the classes or what is it that you really need in order to get your bachelor's degree, as well as if you want to change the major later on. So you will have that, and I'm sure in going forward from orientation, you will connect with them, and then you will be able to make meetings or appointments with them so they could go over that with you as well.
And just to respect everyone's time, I'm going to take one last question, and I think this could be for admissions as well. For any of the supplemental applications, so can you talk about the two majors or the majors that have any supplemental applications that students need to do apart from just the admissions application? The specific one was they were asking about psych, but I guess we can open up to any and all majors.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you want to go, Alejandra. But the biggest ones that we have, the ones that has like the largest population as far as needing to have a supplemental one is realistically nursing. I don't know off the top of my head psychology's process for that one. I know that there is something, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Yes, the only ones that I can remember on top of my head is nursing and social work. So those are the ones that I know for a fact that they do have them. Psychology, they have something similar, but it's not. This year has everything gone through online, so everything's done like online. So it looks a little different. So, but definitely nursing and social work they do.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you to everyone who presented today. And thank you to all the students that are here today, all the parents. Thank you all for coming tonight and for joining us. I know it's a Friday evening. Y'all could be doing 1,000 other things, but thank you all for being here. And that'll conclude the programs. If you have any other questions, we'll put it in the chat, and then hopefully we'll email you a response or get you something to the correct place. But thank you all for being here, and that concludes Coyotes Connect's Next Step session. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.